All set.
Yep. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the June 25th, 2024 Select Board meeting. As a reminder, this meeting is being recorded by Canton Cable TV. The first item on the agenda is going to be our public comment period. And as we do each meeting, I will read a statement about the public comment. The public comment portion of the meeting is an opportunity to listen to residents' feedback and concerns. But the public comment portion of the meeting is not meant to be a question and answer format. There will be no response to any public comment when presented. The public comment portion of the meeting is limited to 15 minutes total and 3 minutes per speaker. I would encourage those that do wish to speak to be mindful of others in the room who wish to do the same so that we can make the most of the time allotted and hear from as many people as possible. Anyone who does not wish to speak or who is unable to speak due to the time limit may submit their comments in writing for the board's review and consideration, or they can attend an open office hours with the select board. So the next open office hours will be in July, but we have not settled on a date or time yet. It's just a little hard to coordinate with the summer time. So, but we will have that at the next meeting. So that being said, let's begin with public comment.
Liza Colburn, longtime Canton resident and loyal taxpayer. I am speaking to the people who are at home, who are Canton residents, who are not content with the status quo, simply to remind them that we have a chance to change 3 decades plus of that's how we do it in Canton. Starting in April, when we have new candidates to outseat the person who referred to us as effing random citizens. Please come to vote in April if you don't like what happens tonight.
Thank you. Ms. O'Donnell?
Hold on.
Yep, sorry, just takes them a minute to reset and.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ms. O'Donnell.
The chief of police out of Stoughton recently released a statement. I was profoundly disturbed and troubled by what I read. While I am not trained medical examiner, I am not qualified to draw any direct conclusions. The findings certainly warrant further examination at the highest level. As always, we will continue to assist with any efforts to ensure the truth and justice will prevail. Every good and decent police officer should be aware of the angry about the injustice inflicted upon Sandra Birchmore. Sandra idolized police officers and what policing stood for in America, and she was victimized as a result. The only mantra a good cop must have is never again and never ever on my watch. Quoting another person today is Alan Jackson. You have the most powerful tool. You have a vote. You have agreed to give the community your best. What will you do in this moment? Will you say you will never look the other way? And lastly, quoting Chris Albert, you are an embarrassment. It's time for you to resign.
Hi, my name is Elise Cohen, a Canton resident. With yesterday's awfully sad news that Sandra Birchmore's death in 2021 has been ruled a homicide, aka she did not commit suicide, but rather she was suicided by the father of her baby, who happened to be a Stoughton cop. In today's jury deliberations, we are on the precipice of the verdict in the 2022 death of Officer John O'Keefe and the subsequent trial of Karen Reed. We are about to watch several persons in our community receive federal indictments. As such, we citizens and Canton taxpayers are no longer putting up with being ignored at these select board meetings. You simply cannot continue to pretend to listen to your constituents, and sometimes not even pretend, but instead be fidgeting with your iced coffee or looking at your laptop, playing solitaire, whatever you're doing, while people bring up very valid, crucial, and urgent matters. This business as usual attitude is beyond reprehensible and shows uncaring, unethical behavior, especially while our town is on fire. Change is needed yesterday, at a time when all eyes are on Canton, to even consider contract renewal for our police chief, who allegedly took part in the murder cover-up, is equally reprehensible. Chief Rafferty should be fired, not rehired. And for the select board to vote her back in to continue ineffectively leading the department where her reports have no respect for her is preposterous. All of our safety is currently at stake with her at the helm. And I wonder, and I ask, how you can possibly justify this vote. Certainly it is not by reviewing her past and current performance. CPD had no disciplinary actions reported since 2000, yet I have a post-commission report in my hands listing 61 complaints involving 25 out of 46 officers on the roster, many with multiple incidents. The officers were reprimanded, counseled, or were involved in civil lawsuits, resulting in the town paying out lots of money in settlements to the aggrieved. One officer was named in not one, but 2 civil lawsuits. And instead of getting fired, that officer got promoted. Insane, isn't it? And the chief herself had 3 complaints, with one ending in a civil lawsuit. Interestingly enough, 3 CPD LE that were named recently as being allegedly involved in this case have no complaints. Chief Berkowitz, Kevin Albert, and Tim Kelleher, no complaints since 2000. Could be, I don't know. And 3 involved had complaints that once they were investigated were unsubstantiated, according to this report. That's Gallagher, Good, and Healy. In any case, I ask you to seriously consider the effect that renewing Helena's contract would have on this town. Thank you.
Ms. O'Donnell, can you please step away? You've already been at the microphone. Can you please step back? All the way back, please. Thank you. You're up.
Kristen Anderson, Canton resident. The women ahead of me, the women behind me, the women too scared to speak, and myself are somebody's daughter, sister, mother, maybe grandmother, and wife. Would any of you want the women near and dear to your heart to be treated in the same manner that we are by the boys of this town? And please do not confuse the boys with the men. There is no comparison, none. We demand respect. We will not shut up until we get it. Speaking of respect, Mr. Albert is still allowed a seat amongst you when he has no idea what respect is. His antics on Sunday evening were unacceptable. There is no law forbidding anyone from patronizing a neighboring business, and the support he gave his family for disrespecting those patrons is disgusting and unacceptable. Mr. Albert being on the board holds him to a higher standard. But you laughed at the sexually inappropriate comments, the body shaming, the threats to smash somebody's skull up and down the street, and all the other comments that were very disrespectful to a woman. You laughed. You laughed as your sister-in-law called me fat. You laughed as your sister-in-law called me Big Bird. You laughed when your son said, and I quote, "You look like a dude." Oh, and don't worry, I won't tell you you gotta go, because you already know. You are a sad representative of this town, an embarrassment, a disgrace. If you don't step down, shut your mouth, and have your families' mouths shut as well. Live up to the standards of an elected official. The women here tonight are strong women, and we will not be silenced by your arrogance.
James White. So the last time I spoke, I talked about integrity of the board and what their responsibilities were as far as what they needed to do for the town. They do not owe Helena Rafferty anything. Their obligation is to the townspeople. What is best for the town, not Helena. I mean, that is what your job is, what you're elected for. You ran for a position to run the town as best you thought. And if you think rehiring Helena is best for the town, you're sadly mistaken. The people have already spoken about that. So I don't understand what the problem is. Why can't you see that and address it and say that to the townspeople, we understand, we hear you, and we will do something to ensure that what we do is best for the town of Canton, not Helena Rafferty or the police department, the town. That's what is, the voice is being spoken, and that's what should be heard. And that's what you should be doing as representatives of the town. And, you know, Mr. Albert, you represent the town right now, unfortunately. And your actions are speaking how you feel about how you represent the town. Okay? Everybody's hearing what you're saying, and everybody's hearing your silence. This board, do something that is appropriate and save the town before it's too late.
Yep, go ahead, ma'am.
My name is Carol Farwell Kelly, and I am a fourth generation Canton Townie. I'm not proud of this town anymore, the way my dad, grandmother, great-grandparents were. And I was here just about a year ago, and I said, there was a bunch of townies, multi-generational, we talked, and they said, did you hear something bad happen at the Albert's house and it wasn't the girlfriend? And we said, yes. So I got up and talked a year ago, and I've been trying to get other multi-generationals, but they're afraid their grandkids will be picked on, or they'll get, stopped, or there'll be repercussions, or their kids won't make sports teams. So I said, okay, here I am again. It's like 29 months. I mean, how much patience? When Chief Helena said, to have patience, how much patience? And as far as the weather goes, I just want to say it here. To put in the paper, have a policeman put in the paper in blizzard-like conditions, there were 2 to 3 inches. You could have seen anything there if it was there at that time. It's just very frustrating. And the only thing I can say is I wish the town could be put into receivership. I don't even know how to go about doing that, but I feel like nothing's happening. And even with court going on, it's just not happening. And I just wanted to go back. I know I can't go back to the Canton of old, but the Canton of new can still be a good Canton if you work with us. Okay,
Sally.
My name is Kathleen Howley. I'm a resident of Canton. I am not a townie, and I'm not a well-connected townie. That means that I am like the vast majority of this town. The vast majority of this town is not townie and is not certainly not well-connected townie. And I'm concerned about the safety of the people who are not well-connected townies. Because if we speak up, we get threatened, we get smeared. I had a creepy guy sitting outside of my house a few months ago. And I went to the police and I reported it. My neighbors, who don't scare easily, were scared for me. I had a picture of the car. At the end of filing my police report, I said, hey, wouldn't this be a great opportunity to use those flock cameras that we've all heard from you guys are so great and so useful? And that officer said to me, well, that would take a long time. And I understood, because I've been speaking out now for a year. I understood what he meant is, you don't count. The police are not here to protect you. We had a 911 call on Sunday night in the center of town. It took 17, 18 minutes for the police to respond. The police station was 2 miles away. When Mr. Albert calls the private cell numbers, as the well-connected townies do, they don't call 911 like we call. They don't call, the recorded line. Hello, hello, this is a recorded line. They don't know what that's like. We call and we say, hello. We hear, hello, this is a recorded line. What is your problem, whatever. They don't do that. They call the cell phone numbers, and the officers self-dispatch, a term I never heard before I moved to Canton. Self-dispatching police if you are a townie and a well-connected townie. I'm here to say, I count, my family safety counts, the safety of all of the not well-connected townies counts. We pay most of the bills in this town. We pay most of the taxes that pay the police salaries. And we have gotten the message that we do not count. What are we worth? Maybe half a human life of a well-connected townie, but certainly not worth a townie, a well-connected townie. And I say well-connected because there are many townies here tonight, and there are many townies who have spoken out bravely and suffered and been threatened. And once you speak out, they don't care about you anymore. We count too, and we need a police chief who cares about all Canton residents and the safety of all Canton residents. We had 2 shooting threats, and we were told, trust the police, February, March. Trust the police who think red Solo cups are a good way to collect evidence?
Thank you, Ms. Howley. So, somebody, force you at the back of the line again, and we passed our 15 minutes. If you can do it very quickly, I will allow you to speak, but we are past the 15 minutes, so
Thank you
please.
very much.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate that. Then I will just get to the point.
Thank you.
Okay, so look, we have a lot of issues in this town. We have a leadership problem in this town. Mr. Albert, I don't know. I guess you can just do whatever you want because there's no consequences. And it's a bad look for us. So I'm just trying to be brief. I do want to let this town know that we have a hero in this town. That is Lucky Lofgran. We love... We were told to wait for the trial and to form opinions after the trial. We have listened for 9 weeks for this trial, and we heard 28 days of storytelling and 1 day from the defense with credible witnesses. We know what happened. We know we have a leadership problem. Lucky is the one hero from Canton who told the truth. And for the people in this town who have speak out, we have paid personal sacrifices. And I know Lucky has paid personal sacrifices too, because that's what comes with telling the truth. It has cost us relationships with our loved ones. It has cost our loved ones relationships with their loved ones. It has rippled and ripped families apart. That is why we are divided. We need more Lucky Lofgrans in this town. And I ask all of you tonight to rise to the challenge. one last sentence.
Last thing.
Listen, I ask you, please, rise to the challenge of Lucky Lofgran. Vote like Lucky Lofgran. Vote your heart. Vote your truth. When it comes to the police chief's contract, please, it could be career ending. A yes vote could be career ending. Please do the right thing. We want to work with you.
Thank you, Ms. Lombardi. Folks, calm down.
Next on the agenda, public hearing to request modifications to the 7th Amendment